All right, we are back. What's
Back
up?
at the Cavalry.
Good to be back. We got a great guest this week, as opposed to the other weeks where the guest sucks. But this week, oh my God, I'm so excited. Super funny friend of mine, runs the sports gambling podcast. So if you're into sports betting, check that out. Sean Green, what's up, Sean?
What's happening, man? Yeah, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
It's so good to have you. I thought of you the other day because this show I'm about to do in Portland it's requiring. They just sent an email that they're going to do the vaccination requirements. So they're going to check. Everyone's got to be vaxxed. Which is great. But then I thought about Rafa's Lounge. When you guys, I was like, can you imagine if Rafa's Lounge was checking vaccine cards at the door, and then you get downstairs and there's a dog that attacks you?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was as far as like places where you think Corona could have started. I know the lab is certainly one place that they're thinking it could have started, but Rafa's Lounge, close second as far as places that a deadly pathogen would have randomly emerged. So yeah, no, the idea of that place being involved in any sort of health protocols is pretty comical.
I know. It's just weird now that comedy clubs, the dirtiest places of them all, are getting involved in protecting our health.
Vaccine bouncers. That idea is very funny. The whole thing.
Yeah. And then I thought of you too, because Johnny and I did we should tease it, a bonus episode on the Patreon where we quizzed each other. Johnny knows nothing about sports. And obviously you're the Sports Gambling Podcast. The Eagles background. Sean's a big sports fan, and we talked about Johnny, you can say it, but being the fan at a watch party. He was watching the Packers, and being the guy who everyone else is insane and
they're
going to
their minds, they're punching shit.
Yeah, but being not into it at all and having to it's just so funny to me.
I've never felt like more of a fraud when I'm like, damn.
Sean is one of the people.
Think I'm mad. Yeah, I'm trying to convince them that I'm pissed and that I give a shit.
Sean is one of the people that would it would actually scare you probably.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely some holes in some drywall. Thanks to some of the earlier thing. Chip Kelly, I think, got a couple holes in drywall.
Yeah, you name them after the incidents.
This is the 2004 season. Lost a couple deck chairs. That was unfortunate. Those things break easier than you'd expect.
Yeah.
Those plastic deck chairs, you just chuck them, throw them like 10 feet and you'd be surprised. Those things just crack, fall apart. I've lost my mind a number of times. Number of glasses I broke in Las Vegas. That was not even out of anger. That was unintentional. They just kept serving me drinks, and I was just. This was like
you're just clumsy.
The Eagles actually won, but I gotten hammered at 10:30 in the morning, and I just kept stacking these glasses inside one another. And then at some point I had 5, and I just tried to shove one last one in there, and the whole thing cracked and fell apart. So Johnny, you're missing out on the fun of being a sports fan. Although
there's nothing wrong with punching holes I've got holes in our drywall too. But I named them after Mario level 7-2.
Do you still, as someone who's into video games or music, do you still have that same passion?
I don't have the fire.
I can't believe he didn't go to a C major on that riff. God damn it.
No, Johnny does have. You have more irrational anger than I do. You break stuff way more than I break stuff, but just over mild inconvenience. I feel like it doesn't take as much for you to get there, or pain, like you were talking about with your brother. You'll break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The desk. Yeah. If something is.
Oh yeah. Tell that. You destroyed an entire desk because you stubbed your toe or something.
Well, I was talking to my brother, and I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna destroy this desk. I'm supposed to take it apart, get it through this door. It won't go. I gotta go. And then he's like, don't ruin it. And then I call him back. I was like, yeah, it's destroyed. I just kicked the shit out of it. I just bashed it through.
Oh, putting together any sort of furniture, there's always one point that will test your will. as a human being, because you're like you're too far in to take it apart and return it, but getting it home and to the finish line of it actually being finished doesn't seem realistic at all. And you're just considering, what if I just burn this desk to the ground? Anyone? What would happen? Were there any consequences? It would feel cathartic.
Yeah, and it would fit through the doorway. That's for sure.
Right. These ashes are easy to transport. I was baby proofing the house a little bit, and there was this bolt. I was bolting we have like an old heavy. It's like a flat screen, but one of the original ones, so it's like really old and heavy. So I was bolting it to the wall so it wouldn't fall off. So there's this instructions and there's straps and and there's jokes in the and I'm like the instructions are like, hey, use your Philip, you need a Phillips head screwdriver, and when you're done, make sure to give it back to Philip. And I'm like, this is not the time for jokes. I am very stressed out.
This is life or death. Yeah, and also that's a horrible joke.
Oh yeah, and it's just bad. I mean, I wasn't expecting top-notch stuff from the instructions for the TV strap.
The guy who normally works at the popsicle place got reassigned. He got laid off. Right. Popsicles aren't moving. They assigned him, hey, this is my craft. This is what I do.
He was on late at Rafa's and none of that shit was flying. But
so you fasten stuff, like when you get furniture, like, and it says fasten it to the wall, you do that?
Normally no, but now I'm like doing it now because we have a baby crawling around.
I just see the baby didn't even that didn't do it for me. We had a baby and I was like, well, we should, but we're probably gonna move soon. I don't have to.
My work kind of thing down. Yeah, he's got to learn about light sockets one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
We'll just tell it to be careful. Tell the baby to be careful.
Well, it's always like, it seems easy, but then like they're like, get your socket wrench, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be one of these things. Anytime you get the sockets involved,
you need.
Yeah, no, it is.
It doesn't come with the tools you need. No, it doesn't.
It is brutal when they start just assuming tools that you have or expertise that you have. Yeah. It reminds me of that Simpsons episode where he decides to do his own foundation repair, and then it just opens up with like, all right, start off with your patching trowel, and he goes to Bart, hand me my patching trowel, son. And it goes downhill from there.
Yeah. Now I'm painting the house, and I was like, I have a sander, and then it's like clearly not the sander I should be because I worked construction years and years ago, and then like we had all sorts of different sanders for exterior painting and like little triangle ones to fit on trim and stuff. And like this is it. This is the sander. This is what we're using to get
one
through.
Sander fits all.
One sander fits all. That's right. And then when I started this, before Sean, you came on, Johnny was on. He's in a tank. He was in a tank top. I thought he was going to show the guns off the hole, but then he ran and put a shirt on.
No, I didn't want to be that guy. Well, here's what happened. I ran to the car dealership. We got a new car that we bought online, and it came today, and I was very excited. And Aaron was with the kids somewhere else, so I was home all day waiting for it. It came. The guy's like, all right, enjoy, leaves. It was dead. It was a dead.
Really?
It wouldn't start at all. It was literally dead.
That is quite the omen.
Oh my God, I was so pissed. I called the Vroom app, and I was like, yeah, the car's dead. And they're like, okay, go buy a battery, and we'll pay you back. Just send us the receipt. We'll send you a thing. Send the receipt, and we'll pay you back. And I was like, well, the car is dead, and I don't know how to put a battery in, so I'm not. Are you going to pay for the tow truck to tow the car to the place? And they're like, yeah, we'll save all the receipts. We'll pay all that. I was so pissed. And then I was like, whatever, I'll just jump it. So I just jumped it, took it to the dealership. They put in a new battery. A Prius, new batteries are like $350.
Yeah, and they're hard to put it like that. You made the right decision, because talk about not knowing how to do shit. Priuses are like so changing lights on Priuses needs a degree. So
Oh my
yeah.
God.
The batteries
Yeah,
are
no,
very
everyone that
complicated.
has one of those, yeah, that seems to be the thing. Like you can't do anything yourself. You just all have to do it via the via a
Yeah.
certified Prius technician.
No, there's
Yeah.
like YouTube video. Because I've thought about, I have a Prius and I've like looked into it, and there's like 45-minute YouTube videos on how to change the lights and stuff. And you're like, this is not worth
It I mean, yeah, it is interesting with YouTube how it's become a cottage industry of just like, oh, I don't know how to do something. I'm just going to look it up on YouTube and watch these guys' videos. And it's always disheartening where you pull up the YouTube video and the YouTube video is like 1 minute and 15 seconds. They're like, no way they can explain everything in a minute 15.
No,
What
and then like 45 seconds of that is just like useless, banter, or like
check out
warm
my
up.
page.
Yeah, check out my page, or yeah, I got a new light. I really like it. And here's the thing about and it's like, just tell me how to fucking do the thing.
I couldn't even figure out how to jump start it because I opened the hood and I'm like, this does not look like any other car. There's no place to put my thing. I had to go on YouTube to find out how to jump a Prius. The guy's camera was like out of focus the whole time. It's like you can hear it. I'm like, I can't even see what I'm doing.
Now these people, and I bet it's got like 6 million views. That's the thing. They're not charismatic. These people, they look like blobs. Their cameras are out of focus. They're awful on television. But yet, if they just have, it just shows you, if you just have something to offer people, just some actual
sort of useful information,
literally, not like this podcast, but like something where you give people something of value that you'll get.
It is funny, just as someone who's worked in TV or obviously, you've done a million shows or videos or whatever, and just the audio production's usually horrible because they're a guy who repairs washing machines. All of a sudden he needs like a bachelor's degree in editing. No, of course it's going to be crappily made. It's just some guy,
Yeah, it's and then also with the jokes, that's the thing. It's like they force jokes in. Everyone's got a force joke. Just tell me the information I need.
No, come on, I'm here for the info.
But so your car is running now, or what? It's all.
So that doesn't explain why I had my sweet shirt on.
Or did you put the stick on? So I'm gonna go work on the Prius, like it's like an old Camaro or something, and crank up the classic rock and get an oily rag.
Well, it's funny that visual of like the mechanic wrenching on his Prius.
I thought of that as
with his sleeveless Under Armour.
Like on the Tim Allen, whatever that show is, he's always like, him and his son is like, hey, let's go work on the hot rod. It'd just be hilarious. Come on, boy, let's go work on the Prius. We're rebuilding a 2006 Prius from scratch. It's gonna be a fun
power. You're like the guy rolling out the mechanic's creeper from underneath the Prius. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Right. No, I know.
Or imagine, I mean, again, we're pretty far away from it, but in 20 years down in the South, there will be Priuses up on cement blocks somewhere, just rusting away. Because eventually people in the South will have a lot of Priuses, and then they'll just let them rot in their yards as they do.
But in 20 years, like the Prius will be like the rolling coal, it's like, because everyone will have electric cars, and the Prius, you'll be a monster if you drive a Prius,
Not fully electric. Yep.
Yeah. But what? So explain why you had the.
So I dropped it off, and then Aaron picked me up, and then like at 8:30 or whatever, I ran to the dealership for my jog, and then I just got back right before we started. So
okay.
I smell like garbage right now, and I'm all sweaty. But that's why I was
combine your errand with your workout. I like that. Very efficient.
Yes.
Yeah. Finally, you've come up with a reason to run.
A reason to run.
Also, what did the guy do when he drops off the car? Where does he go?
Well, that's the thing. He
just walks. And then you're like, he's kind of hinting, so I guess I'll just walk home unless somebody wants to give me a ride.
I don't know if I'm an idiot or not. You tell me. So the guy, he drives it off the thing. I come out and the car is started. It's on top of this, big
he's
truck.
got like a truck. Okay,
yeah. So it's on the back of a trailer, and he drives it backwards off into the the street or whatever. And then I out there to meet him. He's like, yeah, man. Oh, I can't get used to these hybrids. They're so quiet. I can't even tell if they're running or not. I hooked this up to my jump starter because I didn't know if it was running or not.
It wasn't running.
And I was like, oh, this guy's an idiot. But really, it was just dead and he had to jump it. So after he leaves, I didn't even try to. So I'm like sitting in it, playing with it and running it because when he left, it was running. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then I turned it off. And then an hour later, I was like, oh, I'm going to go to Taco Bell. And it wouldn't start.
That is, I do like breaking in the Prius with the Taco Bell. That's
yeah.
I
was nervous. I was like, I don't want it to smell bad right away, but it's going to happen sooner or later. We'll rip off the Band-Aid.
That new car Taco Bell smell.
Yes. The new car Baja Blast.
I love that though. It's like, oh man, these hybrids are so quiet and they don't run, and they you have to use your feet to push the car. I don't like them. It's like, yeah, man.
You're describing a car that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like he thinks it's like the Flintstones.
Not fit for quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the quietest Prius.
What a quiet car. Well, I feel bad because I'm a big Prius advocate. I'm the one who encouraged you to get it.
Hopefully I can be from going forward now that we got this new battery in there.
Oh, you'll be off. This is great, and they paid for a new battery, so it's like,
yeah,
bonus, brand new.
Well, we'll see. I hope they don't just say that and then they're like, yeah, what?
Well, that is the scary part of like buying a car on an app or something. It's like you're like, all right, it doesn't work. I'm gonna leave them a bad review.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you do?
1 star.
Yeah, I've seen those ads for where it's like a car vending machine. And I get the novelty of it, but then the practicality of don't you maybe you want to test drive the car, or again, if you put 50 cents in a vending machine, you don't get your stickers bar. That's not a big deal. Right, but there's no, what do you like, bang on the glass if the car doesn't come out?
The car is just hanging, dangling, tantalizing you. Like, God damn, someone's gonna get 2 cars if they come behind me.
The next guy gets 2 cars. That's bullshit.
Wait, you did test drive those. So when you test drive, Johnny, did you go to a dealership and test drive knowing that you were going to just buy it on the app, or was that part of buying it on the app?
No, we test drove. I mean, ideally we wanted to buy it from a dealership and know what we're getting, but they were like so expensive, and they were just like, Priuses are especially right now with the whole car shortage thing. They're so hard to find, and we needed certain things. We wanted to have a backup camera and all that, and like it was just too hard. And this one popped up online. We were like on wait lists, and it was like we had to buy it, like put down a deposit right when we got notified. Oh, one popped up. So it was like kind of the only way we could get one.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's crazy buying a car right now. It's like you almost have to know somebody to even have the opportunity to buy a used car. It's
have a connect.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know a guy that can get a Camry. Really? Yeah, I mean, you just hear these stories because I guess, I don't know. Yeah. I just keep repeating chip shortage because I sound smart. I don't really understand the mechanics behind it, but
chips.
Apparently it's causing everything to be way more expensive.
It's funny because like now you can get the people you used to buy like weed from. Now you have to go and then like you could buy a car, but you couldn't buy. Now you go to your weed store, like, hey, do you know anybody who's selling a car?
No, sorry, only high grade marijuana. Oh man,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah. Dang.
Come around the back. I know a guy that got a car. Well, I think it's gonna work out for you in the long run, Johnny. I think you made a wise investment. Sean, what are you driving these days? Are you looking for a new car? Or are you happy with your car choices?
No, well, when I won a shit ton of money playing DraftKings, I bought a Jeep Grand Cherokee because I was like, that was always my dream vehicle.
Yeah.
And it ran great for a while, but then it kept leaking some sort of transmission fluid, and I brought it in a couple times to the dealership, and it was under warranty, so because it was like brand new. They fixed it. It wasn't a big deal. But then like it happened like a third time, and I go, come on, man, can you throw me a bone here? Like, couple $100 for, or maybe a free oil change, whatever, for the trouble of like having to bring it back. I mean, granted, they would fix it every time, but it was still a pain in the ass. And I'm like, come on, can you help me out with anything? They're like, no. And then I'm thinking to myself, they really should help me out. So I looked into it, and then technically, in California, if you bring it back for the same thing 3 times within like a year and a half, it qualifies for lemon law. So then I brought that to their attention, and then they ended up giving me a brand new truck. So I went from having like a 2017 to like a 2019. So I had like 20,000 miles on it, and it was almost the exact same truck, but it actually had like Apple CarPlay and a couple other things that the other one didn't. So yeah, I feel like I kind of scammed one over them. Yeah, now it's no issues. So knock on wood. Yeah, it's been running great.
You won twice.
Nice.
Yeah, sticking it to the man.
The big dealership
Story.
Yeah. Well, dealerships, they're always, I mean, it's always just a fucking battle. I remember because I here's the move I always do. When I get my oil changed, I get it changed at the dealership because, well, normally I wouldn't do that because it's more expensive, but it's one of those things. Maybe I do it because it's still under warranty, so I don't want to risk anything or whatever. But I always print out a coupon ahead of time because the oil change super expensive. And I have this same thing every time with the dealership. I present them the coupon. They tell me, oh, well, yeah, it's going to be a little extra because it's synthetic and it's an extra quart. I'm like, okay, fine. But I still get the discount. They're like, yeah, that's fine. And then when I go to pay, they go, oh no, you have to present the coupon ahead of time. I every time I, of course, present the coupon ahead of time. I've been through this like 3 or 4 times. Last time, when I presented the coupon ahead of time, the guy goes, no, you have to show it at the end of the cashier. I go, okay, because she's going to say the opposite. You're telling me 100%. And he goes, yeah, that's 100%. That's how it works. So I present the coupon to the lady at the end. She goes, oh, you had to present it at the beginning. I can't do this for you. And I go, that's what that guy said. His name's Larry. He told me to present it to you. And she goes, yeah, she just said that exactly.
Larry doesn't work here.
She just goes, oh, that's just Larry being Larry. I go, well, I don't care. Just it's $20 off. And then the annoying thing is, and I've had this because I've had a history of a number of customer service interactions where they go, okay, yeah, we'll do this for you. And I go, don't act like you're doing me a favor by honoring your coupon. Don't act like you're doing me a favor by letting me on the plane I bought a ticket to. Like, come on.
They'll say, oh, we'll do it this one time. It's like, no, you got to do it every time. You have to. This is the way it works.
Yeah, I'm starting some word of mouth campaign of like, okay, you know what you do? Here's how you get around Larry. And okay, I'm doing this just for you this one time. You don't have to. Also, if you're the other person on that end, when I worked at Quiznos, I hooked up people all the time. It wasn't my Quiznos. I didn't give a shit. I get it. You're working in a bad job. You're grumpy, but come on, you've been on the other side. If you can hook someone up easily, just do it and everyone can move on with their life.
I'm just impressed you printed out a physical coupon. I don't know if I've ever done that.
Well, since we got an office space and a studio for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, we got a printer again because we had to do all this. It's boring, but I had to do all these like license applications. Do you know, like in the state of Pennsylvania, to promote DraftKings, you have to go through basically the same paperwork that you have to for owning a casino. They're just like, oh, they call you a gambling promoter, and it's the same paperwork that you have to fill out to basically own a casino. So I had to get fingerprinted, and the person at the fingerprinting station was like, oh, conceal and carry permit for a handgun. I'm like, no, I'm trying to promote DraftKings. And
I'm starting a casino.
I wish I was starting a casino.
But no, now you have the paperwork.
I bet they would make me do the application again, but they're just so lazy. They just took the same application and said, oh, this is the thing you have to fill out. And what are you going to tell the gambling commission? They're idiots. Anyway, they're not. They're great people. I that's what I bought the printer for. So I'm using it like a maniac as far as just printing out itineraries, schedules, whatever. I'm just living
live that life.
Yeah,
the life.
MapQuest directions, just whatever.
Thomas Guide.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, Sean,
should we do
let's
it?
get to it. We should get to it. We can let you go first if you want. You can go first. So obviously we try to back each other up. Do you have anything you need backup on?
Sure. Yes, I have a couple. One, I'll start kind of back to the driving. For me, I've always been an aggressive honker. I think, again, as far as cathartic, honking makes me feel good. There's a reason they put it in the steering wheel. I have a couple phrases I like to use. Honk first, ask questions later. Honk them all and let God sort them out. Kind of like kill them all and let God sort them out. But again, the honk is, some people get so offended when you honk at them. And again, there's been a couple times where I'm quick on the honk trigger. I give you a 1 Mississippi off the red light. If you haven't gone, you're getting a honking. And again, honking to me, I'm doing the Lord's work. I'm keeping traffic moving in Los Angeles. A lot of distracted drivers, people not paying attention, don't realize you can turn right on red. I feel like I'm changing lives. My wife, of course, thinks I'm an out of control maniac who just loves honking, and I do. I love honking. It's not like it's a honk. A lot of times it's not a fu honk. To me, it's a hey. Let's get it going, honk. Let me
ask you this: when you do the red light honk at 1 Mississippi, how long? What's the duration of that honk?
Okay,
so beep beep.
Yeah,
or is it
it'll be a quick. Again, when I meter out my honking justice, I do so fairly. Okay, if it's again in that situation, it's a quick courtesy honka. What's up, honka? But if you're sitting there at a red light not turning, then I might lay into it. I might extend it as a, listen, this is a long drawn out FU because you're wasting an insane amount of everyone's time. And I've had issues before because sometimes when you're backing up at a light and one guy clearly has the issue and I honk, but I'm 2 cars back and I got to point to the guy that I'm honking at. I've had some people are like, what are you doing? You're honking at me. It's that guy's fault. I'm like, I know, I wish there was a way to direct message.
Specify.
Yeah,
I feel like that technology is being worked on. Like they for a while there were like there was something where you could point sound in a direction and not some people can't hear it, but I don't know if that what I'm saying is real or not. I feel like that was something I heard about for a while. But I have a question. What is the longest you've ever? Because the funniest thing to me is you see it in LA a lot, or I used to, or it's definitely more of an East Coast thing. By the way, in the Pacific Northwest, there's honking is so frowned upon. So it's like very difficult for me to get on board here. But what I want to know is what's the longest you've actually held down the honk? I've seen people for minutes. Like, you know, when there's like a parking, someone's blocking like double park
in LA,
and they'll just lean on it and like for minutes they'll just wait. Like no one's being alerted to this. The person you're trying to get at is not responding and you're just ruining my day.
Yeah, see, in that case, I would park and then put my hazards on and go, hey, or I would just yell out Toyota Camry or whatever the vehicle is as a wake up. I don't lay on the horn forever, but yeah, I mean, you know, I'll give it a lengthy like 15 seconds, which in honking terms, that feels like forever. But again, I am tough but fair when it comes to my honking justice.
So what would be the transgression that would like merit a 15-second honk? Like almost. Do you do punitive honking? Like there's one thing to like alert someone the light has changed and they're being an idiot, they're looking at their phone.
Oh, the heads up honk, wake up honk. Yeah.
Right. But like I've been like, if you cut someone off on accident or you almost hit somebody and then they honk at you and then they follow you and keep honking, that's like the punitive. Like now they're just doing it to like, I'm mad at you. Do you do that one?
Well, let's see.
I think yes.
Have I been involved where there's exchange back and forth? Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I usually just try and keep it like, hey, let's wake up, keep your eyes on the road, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, we're all a team here.
Yeah, exactly. Team
Support of honking.
team support driving. And here's the thing, I also have other people's backs in situations. So for instance, I was a pedestrian. The parking lot across from where our office is, it's pretty hilarious because it's a popular intersection. Everyone pulls up and then they don't turn right on red, but then as soon as it turns green and there's a crosswalk and people start walking, that's when they make the right turn and almost hit people all the time. I see it every day. Like literally, I just go walk back and forth. I was walking across and there was a guy who was supposed to be making a right turn, but I have the crosswalk. He's waiting for me. And again, here's what I'm doing. As a pedestrian, I'm not giving you a lazy walk. It's a brisk, almost
yeah.
I realize people have to go. Some people, when they're in the crosswalk, it's like, oh, they're big time to shine. They're strutting. They're doing everything they can to slow it down. Right. Not me. I'm there. I'm walking through. Now, the guy who was looking to turn right was waiting, give me the right of way. Good driver. Then this other maniac comes out of nowhere and like 3 lanes over and just goes right behind the guy, like cutting off other traffic, and then slams on the horn at the guy who was waiting, giving me the right of way. So I went out of my way to give that guy the finger multiple times. He honked at me and gave me the finger back, which, normally in LA, you don't get the courtesy finger back. And I felt alive. I for like 2 seconds, I was jogging down the street and then I caught myself like, what are you going to do? You're not in a car. So yeah, I'm ready to roll if needed. But
I think you should have filed the paperwork for a handgun. I think it might come in handy.
No, that's if you own a gun, God bless you, unless you're doing bad stuff with it. But I just could never own a gun, because I know, again, going back to the sports, there's been times where, I don't want even the handgun to be in a house. I don't want to know anyone with a handgun because, again, and also one, I have highs and lows.
Wait. Now I'm just picturing Johnny at that, trying to fit in at that Packers watch party, and he's like, okay, everyone's gonna go crazy. Johnny just bringing a gun, and then they lose. He just, I'm gonna do it because I love the Packers and I'm mad. They're like, Jesus Christ,
like messing up the team names. It's like, oh man, Aaron Brady,
Eric Rodgers dropped it.
No, I don't. I know the highs and lows of being a sports fan, and it could work the other way where you're celebrating. Oh, hey, I got a gun. Why don't I
it in the air? Yeah.
Fire it off? After the 2017 Super Bowl, if I had a gun, maybe I'd fire it off. I don't want to think about that. And then also I'm kind of clumsy, so again, not owning a firearm. But again, I get out any sort of wanting to use a gun feelings that people may have in their day-to-day with a simple, carefree honk. And I'll say this, as a driver, if I get honked at and I'm in the wrong, I take it. I look back at the game film and go, you know what, you could have done better. You're on your phone. That person deserved a honk at you, and do better, Sean. So I don't freak out if they're honking at me incorrectly. Oh, they're getting a honking back. So I'm team honk. Some people, you honk at them, they take it as a personal affront. It's just it's like a, hey, look alive, let's go.
It is so
15-second hey, look alive.
Well, again, that Johnny, that is only in extreme circumstances. Yeah, you probably would never, just judging by your mannerisms, I don't see you ever being delivered a 15-second honk. I hope it never comes to that. If I'm behind you or in front of you, again, depending on the situation. But yeah, it's, extreme measures for extreme actions on their part.
Sure.
I'm backing you up I'm much better now at taking the honking when I deserve it. Like, cause I'm, I've made mistakes out there on the road, and now and I'm like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It used to, but now I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I don't freak. Sometimes they're really mad, and all you can do is laugh. You're like, yeah, I almost killed you. I don't know what to tell you. That's my bad.
Should happen.
I'm gonna wear that one.
But again, the honking, it's not like it damages your car. It doesn't stay with you. You just keep driving. If you get honked at, you keep driving.
Right. Yeah. It's not a life or death. And also, yeah, I'll back you up on that too, because what you just said is a good point. Like, hey, I'm honking, but my person, you should be happy that I don't have a gun. This is someone who's not shooting a gun. It's America. Anytime you don't get shot with a gun, you just get honked at. That's a pretty good
that's
exchange.
A win. That's a win.
You got to count that as a win.
I mean, it's the same way of, hey, you're hanging out, you're playing paintball. It's getting out some maybe aggression, that kind of thing. But no one, even paintball, getting hit with a paintball, that hurts. Getting hit with a honk, it's,
no.
Yeah. Does it feel great? No. But again, I think everyone should take the honk as it, but also, again, judge it fairly for yourself and for others. If you didn't deserve the honk, then you have the right to be upset and maybe fire a honk back. Again, it's all harmless honking.
I'm pretty good at taking a honk if I did something wrong. If someone's giving me the angry honk, I will, because I think it's funnier. I'll act like I think that they know me, so I'll act like it's a friendly thing just to piss them off, so that they have to specify. No, I don't know you. I hate you.
All right, yeah, oh yeah, hey.
Because when someone's angry and you don't respond with anger back. There's a guy in LA. Oh,
that's a great way to diffuse stuff.
He was losing his mind, and I laughed at him, and he followed me, and oh my gosh, this guy was screaming. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I was like, what? I don't even know. I was driving too slow or something, in a fucking school zone, and this guy was in his, one of those probably rental Lamborghinis or some shit. And I was like, oh my God. And he was pulling up next to me, and then he'd have to back up and he was just losing his mind, and it was hilarious. And I would laugh at him, and he would just make him blow his top. It was great.
Oh yeah, that drives people crazy. If they're losing their mind and you're just laughing at them, pointing out how ridiculous they are, that just makes them so much angrier.
I know.
That's so funny too. You're gonna laugh at me? You know how much the damage deposit was on this rental?
Yeah.
You know how much they're holding on my card right now? Laugh at me.
Yeah.
Oh man. So wait, Johnny, are you backing up Sean? Are you team Honk?
I mean, initially I was like, this is tough, but you really covered your bases with with your sound logic. So that's good.
No, it is it's a very regional thing, the honking etiquette, because you're bringing your East Coast energy, to these West Coast people. Yeah. Although LA is a little more aggressive because it's got the blend of people from everywhere. But
so where are you, Sean?
I'm in Eagle Rock in Los Angeles, so kind of the east side near Pasadena. But I mean, again, it depends. I mean, around our neighborhood, there's a couple intersections. And again too, the honking, I like using it as the tool it was intended for, right? You're looking at your steering wheel. There's a reason there's a horn in there. And I think some people would just, my wife would never honk at someone. And this is also as a passenger in other people's cars. If I see a situation, and again, this is why I only drive, because my wife, it does drive her crazy. But sometimes if there's a clear situation where she should be honking and she isn't, I'll reach over and throw it.
I can't back that up. You're gonna get someone killed.
Throw a passenger side honk. Not if they're actively driving. I'm not going to interfere with them. But if you're at a light, and my wife would never honk at anyone, regardless of the situation. Again, some honks are warranted. And again,
if you win DraftKings again, you should design a car that has a passenger side horn.
Oh, that would be
you
awesome.
could just honk from the passenger side. whenever you want to.
I think, and again, people are somehow getting honked at was like the worst thing that's ever happened to people. But I would argue that we could use it for non-car situations. TSA line, just anywhere where there's a line where people are either distracted, not doing what they're supposed to be.
Buckle or something.
Yeah, just a little, or maybe just a little keychain, little just to get people. Oh yeah, you're right. I don't have to take my shoes off here. Okay, I should just keep going. Just kind of a keep it moving.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Or you can wear a clown nose.
Yeah, I mean, either way,
irritated clown everywhere you go. Because you know what you need. You're right, because there's the air horn, which is way too powerful.
Yeah.
We need to back down. You need something between like an air horn and a clown nose. They don't make that. That's it. Hey, it's a business opportunity.
Bike horn. What about a bike horn?
Bike horn's good. Horn?
Yeah.
Too friendly though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need that mix between, obviously the car horn in a personal situation would be a bit intense. Bike horn a little too soft. You want to get that look alive energy via the honk. So somewhere in between those two.
Yeah. Well, you won me over, and again, it was very tough for me as a passive aggressive Pacific Northwest baby.
Now, do you
want to back this up?
Andrew, do you honk at people? Like, when was the last time you honked at someone?
Almost never, but like I'll do it in the situation you described, where somebody, if my life is in danger, like on the highway, if someone is about to kill me,
they don't see you, they're about to purge,
or at the red light, and it's got to be. I'm way over 1 Mississippi for me personally. It's probably like
probably
I'm gonna miss this light. If I'm in danger of missing the light, I do like the slightest ever, like doop, doop, like just as graceful as you can touch that horn.
How aggressive is a Prius horn anyway?
Not great, and people don't respect the Prius horn anyway, so there isn't much you can do with it.
It's a kazoo. You got the kazoo option.
Yeah.
The no right turn on red is really what that one to me is some of the greatest. That is just mind-boggling, where you're right behind the person, they're sitting at the red light, they're like halfway turned, and then just waiting for it to turn green. Some situations, some cities you can't do it, but for the most part, you should be going red on red.
I feel like that's an obvious one. I probably don't do it there because, again, I'm a big wuss. But then, I'm soft, But then also here, okay, how confident are you in your rules of the road? Because I've seen people like not turning left on a one-way from a one-way to a one-way when they have the red light, and they're not going. And I'm like, you can go, but then I don't have.
Yep.
Like, I know that's legal. I don't know if they know it's legal. And it's like, if I honk at them, they're gonna be like, "What are you, a maniac?" I'm turning left.
See, again, I would honk there. I have honked in there, and it shows off your driving knowledge. And again,
you're bragging at that point.
Yeah.
What a smart driver you are.
I know I can go left from a one way to a one way on a red light. Yeah, you can go left. It's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And I think
responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. I think people, and you nailed it, they're worried that you're seen as an out of control maniac. And I guess I'm fine being labeled that. A lot of times I'll be wearing an Eagles hat, and people think you're a maniac anyway. And whatever. Yeah, there's certain stereotypes that have some truth there. So I'm already over that idea of like they think I'm going to be crazy. So I'm fine with it. And again, it's a sensible honking.
Okay, I got one more for you to see how crazy you are, because sometimes people will be red light, right turn, but then it's the red arrow. So technically it's like a no turn on red, but then I've been honked at in that situation. I'm like, it says no turn on red, but a lot of times that rule gets ignored. People are like, whatever, if you can see it, why not just go? So where are you on that?
Well, here's the thing. If and again, I'm a letter of the law. Again,
okay.
Honking justice. It is justice is blind. So if it's a no right turn on red, I would probably turn if I was there, because as a sensible driver, if I can see there's clearly no cars. Oh, and even to the point where if we're driving to the airport, the other day driving to the airport at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'm at an intersection, I can see for like miles on end that there's no cars, I'll just drive. So at some point we can use common sense as human beings, and not just live our lives by what the machines tell us to do. So again, in that situation, I'm not honking. I'm respecting your right to drive by the letter of the law. However, if it's a situation like that where you should be turning, you're getting a honking, and you're getting a turn honking.
I can back that up. That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. I'm backing that up.
I'm not going to take my kind of bending of the law and apply it to my honking justice. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, because justice is blind, but it is not deaf.
No,
it hears those honks. Hey, Johnny, do you have something this week? Do you need backup, Johnny?
Yeah. All right. So here's mine. Let's say you take a dump, right? And
sure.
you take a dump afterwards. Now, let's say that this is a bathroom that's not near where everyone is, okay? So everyone's in the kitchen and you're upstairs and you take a dump. Isn't it better to leave the door open after you take a dump than to close it? Instead of because
this is great because I've had this battle in my mind. I mean, I've never thought about the proximity of where, but like that's a good point. If you're far away, I think it is better for the next person to leave the door open, of course.
Because then it lets it go and fizzle out and dissipate easier than being trapped in this box.
Right. Because I've had that where like I think like, Heidi or somebody a little bit look at me like close the door after you're done in there. But I'm like, no, for the greater good, like just let this to pull the Band-Aid off. If I close the door, we're going to be dealing with this like 45 minutes from now,
No, you're if you leave it closed behind you, you're just creating someone's going to walk into
somebody else's problem.
Yeah. If there's like a safe space that you can actively vent into, that totally makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if you're venting right into a room where people are, then obviously you've got to close it. But in the situation you're describing, it makes complete sense to, crack it open, leave it open, vent it. I mean, you should do everything.
What is the fan for? Like the fan mixes up the air, but if you close the door and turn on the fan, you're just stirring it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it should be an exhaust fan though, so it should be pulling air out. But
I guess that would change it.
But see, your problem, Johnny, is
close the door, turn the fan on.
Yeah.
Well,
you should flush though. That's the thing.
What?
That's the missing ingredient.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to back. Your no flushing policy, Johnny. I don't know if I can.
No, eventually it'll dissipate. You just open the door.
So much water. Come on, we can't be flushing every time we take a big greasy dump.
I'm sure there's some people that are just hardcore environment. It's one thing if it's yellow, let it mellow. But God, I'm sure some people take it farther than that.
No, my
brown, keep it around.
Hey, if it rhymes, you have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, like, not with the dumps, but he was very strict with like the mellow, let it yellow.
Oh, really?
Mellow. The first time I met him, he like asked, he's like, hey, I was like, can I use the restroom? It's like, yeah, just if you're just peeing though, don't flush. And then when I left, he's like, I almost just out of like instinct.
Yeah.
And this is my first time in the guy's house, And then on the way out, he's like, you didn't flush, did you? I was like, no, I didn't.
I'm going to go check.
Yeah, did he go in there? Let me see that.
Yeah, but then like multiple people would go through and he wouldn't let anybody. I think he was like a once a day flusher, just like, or when someone takes a dump.
It does start to stink.
It still smells. That's the thing. It absolutely still smells. You don't want it to smell like pee. I mean, it's better than shit, but it's not great.
Yeah. Still,
is that what you need backup on?
Yeah, pee is better than shit, but still not great. Can you back me up on that?
Well, now they have those like the flush indicators, like it's either 1 or 2, and the 1 obviously is for like a small flush, and then 2.
Oh yeah, I have that.
Yeah, so like that stuff makes sense, but then you're still flushing.
It makes sense, but I don't see any. I every once in a while I'll remember to actually press the different button. Normally I'm just pressing the whatever. I'm not even looking back there. But
I get myself doing that.
I've looked at the different. I don't see a big difference between the 1 and the 2. That's just my conspiracy.
I can see that.
No, but I'm backing you up, Johnny. Yeah, let it leave that door open. Get, everyone, maybe it wafts a little bit. Like, were you corrected? Did someone tell you to close the door, or this is just your own internal battle?
No, I'm always told to close the door after I take a shit. Like, because it's like, oh, everyone's downstairs, I'll go poop, and then like, oh, okay, she's gonna go upstairs, and she's like, oh my, did you poop? Why didn't you close the door? Because nobody was here, nobody was around. I was trying to get it out.
Yeah,
let it savor it.
I'm with you. I'm backing you up. I think that's the response. I mean, that's just the better, because if she had to use the bathroom up there, then it's like that's a disaster. You don't want to go in there,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking.
You can't let it marinate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of others. That's all.
Okay, I have a quick one.
Right, what's yours?
And then I don't know. We're burning through this. Is great. Here's what I need backup on. So our daughter now is 9 months, and she's like eating regular food, not just milk. And there's this thing called baby-led weaning. So Johnny, did you ever, with your kids, did you ever do any baby-led weaning?
I am familiar with the term. I can't remember what the hell that is, though.
Okay, so the idea is because normally the way I thought of it, like you have a baby, you buy baby food, and then you take a spoon and you feed them the baby food, and it's all pureed so they can't choke because she obviously doesn't have any teeth. And but no, that's not what you're supposed to do now. So according to this baby-led weaning, you have to give her just actual foods, like you give her a whole pear or something, and then she like practices picking it up and chewing on it, and she might choke, but you have to be ready to like scoop the pulp out of her throat. Or like, oh, like Heidi today, she gave her some bread. I was out scraping the house, and she's like, oh yeah, I was just letting her practice like chew on the bread, and she like choked a little bit, but I was like, I don't think what I need backup on is the risk reward on baby-led weaning is completely, because they won't tell me what the consequences are of babies who are not led weaning. You know what I mean? Like, what, all those babies that were given baby food, they figured it out. Yeah. There is not, I've been all over this country. There is not one person I've ever met who like didn't know how to eat.
So what are the supposed pros of?
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know. They just say it's better. They're like, oh no, it teaches them how to eat. But then I'm like, they all learn eventually. Like everybody gets it.
Everyone who's grown up, you go to a diner, even filled with grown idiots. They all know how to eat and chew.
One thing we all. Yeah, I feel like everyone gets it. They figure out the fork thing, the spoon thing. Like eventually everybody.
It's one of the few universal things that brings people together is that we've all figured out how to eat. I mean, America has a lot of problems, knowing how to eat. I don't think it is one of them at all.
Definitely not.
No, and what's wrong with baby food? Then they get their food and you don't have to worry about them choking. It seems like a win-win.
It is, yeah. That's where I'm at. And they'll say, so I guess to give it full justice, they would say like in these blogs or whatever, they're like, oh no, it's better for you because the sooner they learn how to use, like, you don't have to feed them all the time. But I'm like, these are precious memories. Can we? I don't want her to be reading the New Yorker, and drinking coffee. Like, this is the fun part. Like, how fast do we need to get through all this, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I just mostly the choking thing. I'm like, Heidi just keeps giving her like big pieces of food And then sometimes she like kind of chokes. She's like, oh no, that's good for her to learn how to like, deal with. And I'm like, I don't know. But of
Just
course
to
we
learn how
don't.
to deal with almost dying.
Right. We want her to be aware of death at a very young. We want her to really experience that.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea of giving them hard foods while you're around and keeping an eye on them, but also like, yeah, wait till they have teeth, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that seems when the teeth, as far as I know, the teeth are helping to chew so that it becomes
that's
baby.
right. That tracks.
So until you can make it baby food, you just get baby food. That's what I thought was I mean, to the other end, when you're old and your teeth fall out and they give you soft food, they don't do like old age,
elderly lead weaning. Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, hey, so we want you back on the ham sandwich. We know you don't have teeth, but figure it out. We'll be here in case you choke. Like, what?
Just gum this.
You're like giving them this ham sandwich.
Yeah, this T-bone here. We thought you might. No, I don't know. It's just weird. There's all these like baby trends, and like things. There's a whole industry, like learning about it now. But like Heidi's really into these like Instagram people and like these blogs and stuff, and like they can teach all these different things. But then eventually, like my thing is always like, well, what's the consequence of doing it the other way? Like, what happens if you don't baby lead wean? Like, what? Does it get you into Harvard or something?
Then your baby's dumb.
Baby's gonna be dumb.
You don't want a dumb baby.
You don't want a dumb baby. I suppose. So we're working on that. But
I think it's just with the internet and information overload where you can just, again, I'm not a parent, but yeah, like it seems like you could overthink it. I mean, we got my mom wasn't on Instagram when she raised me. I turned out somewhat decent. Again, anecdotal evidence, but I think when you hear all this stuff as a parent, correct me if I'm wrong, but you want to do the right thing. So you read what the right thing is, but now there's so many different people that have voices that say, oh, I know what the right thing is. But really, it's like, the kid will be fine.
Well, it's funny because it comes back the other way too. Cause like, then I feel it happening to me and wanting to tell other people how to raise their kids. Cause like there's baby bumpers where like, are out. You don't have anything in the crib. You don't have any blankets, no pillows, no stuffed animals. You don't have any. You just put them in the crib with nothing because then there's like less chance they suffocate.
No.
So the CDC is like every once in a while they suffocate on these bumpers. So no bumpers, right? And I saw on this Facebook group, I don't know what group. I was just like one of those Facebook free things. I'm trying to get rid of this baby stuff now that she's grown out of.
No.
And there are people like, oh, I need bumpers. And there's like 3 people. And I kept looking through the comments, like, surely someone's going to tell her that her baby will suffocate from these things. And nobody was. They were just all, oh, I have some. I'll drop it. And it took everything I had to not get in the comments and go, you morons, you're going to kill your baby.
You're trying to kill your child.
Well, my stance. I mean, we were using a recalled baby rocker toy because come on, I don't want to go return it.
You're like baby's first 300-pound dresser that I'm not attaching to the wall. You're putting little pictures on each drawer, encouraging them to climb up on it. Because that's how it happens. Kids will climb on the drawer, and then the whole thing will come down on them. Kill them.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
Yeah, like that seems something to worry about, not the them eating baby food.
I don't know.
So I feel
like I'm being the safe one because it's like don't want her to choke. Yeah, Heidi like wants her to choke a little bit every once in a while.
Well, tell Heidi I said hi and that she's definitely wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will. Yeah. You're backing me up.
God has me backed up. Tess always like anytime there's any sort of like argument or whatever that she would like discuss with her friends, and then she would come back and be like, I talked to all my friends. They all think you're wrong. I'm like, yeah, no shit. They're your friends. What if they would take the opposite side, they wouldn't be your friends. Part about being a friend and being on the Cavalry pod is because you're friends. So I got my friends back. But,
right.
Exactly.
See?
Thank you.
I tried to explain to her that your
get
friends
it.
their friends are
You got to write our bio for us.
okay. Yeah, exactly.
I know that's a way better description of the show. No, which is ironic too, because we talk about it a lot. But when I described this show idea to Heidi, she was like, "I don't." So you're just gonna agree with each other all the time? That sounds boring. It's like, well, you might have a point. They're not like first take. They aren't always like, what are we gonna agree on next? But
well, yeah. I mean, Shannon and Skip. I mean, it's tough to compete with that show, though.
Yeah, that's true. What we do, I think we're out of time, but I know about we told people a little bit about the sports gambling podcast, but do you have anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Sports Gambling Podcast. Download the app. It's in the App Store, Google Play Store, SGPN. It's free. We're doing a contest. You got to pick all the games right against the spread, couple totals, NFL Week 1. If you get all of them right, it's free to enter. You win $100,000, so that's fun. And also, I got
$100,000.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Serious. So I mean, and we got an insurance policy, so it's not coming out of my money. So I hope someone wins. It would be pretty awesome. And then I got a comedy album on Spotify. This Loss Hurts Us All.
Great album with a great story about your dad on a party bus, which basically is everything we talked about earlier about the crazy fans. He
was the crazy fan, and after a tough loss, he just kept yelling, "This loss hurts us all." So that again, you would imagine a guy who was raised by that man would be also advocating for honking.
Yes. Well, Johnny, I want you to do this contest because Johnny knows nothing.
Those are the guys. Those are the people that win.
Pure random. That's what you want.
The work pool. It's always the morons that win.
Right.
Yeah. No, because you don't have any preconceived notions. Right. You don't think the Raiders suck. You don't have any. You haven't lost a bunch of money previously on the Broncos, so you're not going to pick them. You're coming in clean slate, and that's the kind of Zen-like experience you need to win a massive contest.
We did this will tease the Patreon episode, but when I quizzed Johnny about sports, one of my questions, I won't tell you if he got it right or wrong, but one of my questions was, who won the Super Bowl last year? That's one of my questions. And I won't tell you if he got it right or wrong, but I will say he confused Tom Brady with Peyton Manning. He was like, wait, didn't the guy have a brother? So that's a teaser to go via Patreon member. You can listen to that episode. And thank you, Sean,
for being on,
joining us. Johnny, do you have anything you wanted to talk? Any shows coming up or anything?
Yeah, I will have been at Laughs in Tucson 2 weeks ago.
This comes out 2 weeks after, and we're
Omaha Funny Bone, December 21 and 22. That's plenty of notice.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. All right. Thanks everybody listening. See you next time on The Cavalry.